guys, Dr.D-Nice here, solar powered and energized by the SON. Welcome to Wisdom Wednesday. So it's first Wednesday, and I told you all before, we're going to totally flip the script and just go into talking about depression, because I was watching YouTube and I realized that so many people out there are suffering and struggling with depression. I myself struggled and suffered with it, and as a doctor I have a lot of experience with it, and I thought, you know what, it'd be a good idea to share some of my experience, some of my thoughts about depression, just to see what I can do to help. I really just, look, I mean, the I in depression is a killer. It really is. It isolates people, and it just has you so isolated that even your thoughts are isolated. All you can think about is yourself and how worthless you are, how you've messed up, how everything is so horrible, and it really is a killer. Do you realize that over 800,000 people a year, that's close to 1 million people a year, kill themselves because they were feeling so bad? 800,000 people kill themselves because of depression. The I in depression is a killer, and we have to try to get rid of the I, to put the I out, to stop the isolation of just being by yourself, the isolation where you just don't want, you're around people and you're alone, the isolation of your thoughts. We have to figure out how to end this, because it's horrible. It's a horrible epidemic right now. And like I said, because I've already experienced it, I just have a heart for people that are suffering for depression. And one of the tips that I have is, I told you all about one last week, to break out of this isolation, is be brave enough to just tell somebody what you're feeling. You cannot get help if nobody knows. It really, you can't. And that's part of the horrible thing about depression, is that you're so embarrassed that you don't even want to tell people. You don't even want to tell people how horrible you're feeling. And chances are, if you shared it with somebody, then somebody will be able to help you, to take you to a doctor, to take you to a counselor, to advise you on some things that you can do. The I is a killer. Let's just get rid of it. Anyway, I'm not going to leave you today without giving you this one tip of how you can get rid of the I. One of the things that you can do is just really make sure, if you're depressed, if you know anyone that is depressed, let them know that they need to do this. They really need to clean up their diet. You really need to clean up your diet if you're suffering from depression, because the foods we eat really affect how we think. And if you think about it, you ever gave a kid a bunch of sugar and they're just woo, and then they drop? It's happened to you before too, right? You had this dessert or something, and then your emotions just went woo, and then it just drops you after that. You're just feeling all draggy and tired. That's what I'm talking about. When you're depressed, you cannot afford to have your emotions just going up and down. You already don't feel bad in your brain, and you cannot have the foods that you eat just having your brain being on like a roller coaster. You can't do that. You got to eat good foods, good quality foods that are really going to have you in the right mental space. Things that are not processed, because quite honestly, who knows what polyethyl saccharide disaccharide sulfate is going to do to you and your brain. The people that put it in your foods, they have no idea what it does. They know it can't harm you immediately, but can it harm you later? You just need to really stick to very natural foods. Nothing sugary, nothing processed, not a lot of caffeine. Definitely avoid alcohol, because alcohol is, in a class we call it a sedative hypnotic, meaning that it really affects your brain. And I don't even have to break that down for you, because you know that alcohol affects your brain, it affects how you think. And when you're depressed, you just don't need anything that's gonna put your brain in that wrong space, because you're trying to get the I, you're trying to get the isolation out of depression, and really focus on the things that you're gonna eat. So I told you the things that you should avoid: alcohol, sugar, processed foods, caffeine, those kind of things you should definitely stay away from. The things that you should gravitate towards are whole foods, fruits, vegetables, gotta eat your veggies, you do. And then also, you know, nuts actually have some things that really do a lot for the brain, that helps build the brain up. And the walnut, you all see how it like kind of shaped like a brain? People feel that it's like brain food, and it's naturally nature's way of telling us that it's good for your brain because it's kind of shaped like a brain. Anyway, nuts are really good for when you're feeling depressed. Just really focus on what you're eating. We're trying to get the eye out. We're trying to prevent the isolation that depression can cause, the isolation of your thoughts, I'm serious, guys. If you know anyone that is suffering from depression, and if you yourself are suffering from depression, please follow my channel, listen to some of the thoughts that I have, some of the information that I have to give about depression. I really think this could all be very helpful for somebody out there. Having gone through it myself, I really do want to share some of the things that looking back that I could have done to really get myself out of that depression. You know, one day I will share with you all the full story of how after 6 months of being absolutely suicidal, how those thoughts left me. One day I'll share with you all. Like I said, I'm not quite ready yet. I will though, I promise I will. Anyway guys, get the eye out. Put the eye out of depression. That eye wants to isolate you and it wants to kill you. Let's get rid of it. Alright, guys, if you liked it, like it. If you learned something, subscribe. And if you loved it, share. Really share it. And I'll see you in a month. We'll continue our series on depression. You know, every week I upload a Wisdom Wednesday video. And yeah, see you guys. Thank you so much for watching. And don't forget to share it, okay? Alright, bye-bye.